Hello friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. I am Jenny here with my beloved, and we are back here on the front porch for another front porch chat. If you are new to Gardening with Creekside, we try to do these relatively at the beginning of every month. This is our third one so far, so if you've missed the other two, just check out, I'll link up at the top. You can go back and look at that whole playlist of the last two. But this is just a real informal conversation. We are on our front porch. We have real cups of coffee. Last time I did not have a quilt, a blanket, and I about froze to death. So I now have my nice warm blanket. And we're just gonna sit here and talk about things that are going on at the nursery, in our life, and maybe kind of answer some common questions that come up a lot. But just have a general kind of conversation, a chit chat here on our front porch.
Having a good winter.
Yes.
Just talking about that blanket here in North Carolina. Oh my gosh.
Okay, I don't know, like with the camera angle, I think you can tell that it's a pretty sunny day. Like right now there is maybe three tiny little cotton ball clouds in the sky. This morning we literally woke up and had, what, 2 to 3 inches of snow on the ground? Like we still had the little snowman sitting right in front of us. I mean, we were covered in snow. One of the jokes, you know, that we talk about is if you don't like the weather, just wait 5 minutes and it'll change. But,
yeah, it's 51 right now.
But then tonight it's going to be
28.
And then the other day I came out and took a picture. It was beautiful the way the sun was coming up and it was hitting the trees at the nursery. So I took a picture and put it on like Insta stories. But I put the temperature, which was 21, and one of the owners of Pleasant View was like, in New Hampshire, was like, you are colder than we are in New Hampshire. And I was like,
yeah, it's been consistently cold here in North Carolina for this winter. Last 2 winters were really warm, exceptionally warm. So I think that spoiled a lot of people. I had some neighbors. It was neighbors from Iowa.
Yeah, Iowa.
Yeah.
Our bee people.
Matt and Lisa from Iowa. And they were asking, you know, like, was this, you know, normal? Because they haven't been here for many winters. You know, this one's a little, it's consistently cold, and it has been raining every week, which has made landscaping very difficult, and it's gotten big projects way behind.
Yeah.
And it just is what it is. I mean, we just have to wait.
It is, because and this is what we talk about this a lot in planting videos, when we're talking about, you know, how do you plant a shrub, how do you plant a tree. And I think most of you that have been around us of any amount of time know that here we are in North Carolina in the Piedmont. Piedmont kind of means the middle, right? So we deal with really red clay soil, and we talk about plant these shrubs and trees, perennials, but both, you know, shrubs and trees especially, you plant them high, like you plant the root ball kind of sticking out of the ground, because clay, of course, holds on to water, and we know how wet our winters are, and so many plants will drown in the winter.
Yeah, that if you have a perennial garden here, and those perennials don't come back, if they don't come back this year, you can bet your bottom dollar it wasn't the cold that got them, it was the wet.
That and butterfly bushes. We talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
Butterfly bushes hate being super wet. And they're very cold tolerant. So if your butterfly bush does not come back this spring, it's probably because it drowned. So that's just, we talk about what works here in our region, and, you know, maybe you have clay soil, you know, out in Oregon, I don't know. But, you know, we can help you a lot with conditions that are similar to ours. But I had somebody on YouTube, or I don't know, social media today, ask me about things, and they're in like zone 9B. And I can give you kind of general parameters, but the best thing that we can suggest, especially as being a nursery owner, is go connect with a local nursery and talk to them. Like, when's the best time to prune in your area? Because I can tell you when's a good time to prune in my area, but you in a 9B, you could be, you know, a month, 6 weeks ahead of me. So hot. Right. So yeah, so it's been cold. We're still holding out for a really big snow.
Yep.
Which can happen this late.
late February, early March.
Yep. So that's fun. Working on the greenhouse.
Yeah, so the greenhouse is operational.
Has plants in it?
Has plants in it. The only thing that we really need to do are hanging basket, extra drippers, and just the wiring to the curtain, so it's automated.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we're okay with that right now because it's not getting really warm during the day. But I was just up there a few minutes ago. It was pretty toasty in there. I had to open
But
the
we can
door.
open the front, the back door, and the wind blows through and cools it off really fast.
Yeah. Which we're fine. You know.
We're fine. Yep. Because coming up, I mean, we're about to hit the middle of February. Got my Valentine earrings on today. Thought I'd wear those special just for y'all today. So Valentine's Day is coming up, which with the nursery getting going and the weather being kind of I know a lot of people have been asking us about when is the nursery going to open for the spring season. And a lot of that kind of really is going to depend on the weather. Jerry has a different feeling on this than I do. Jerry's like, let's open today, which is good. But the plan is what, this coming Saturday?
Yeah, because we've had quite a few people wanting to set appointments to talk about landscape. They want to get the bones in.
Right.
Which,
those trees and shrubs.
if they have a place where they can go in with a shovel, I mean, I don't know. It's still kind of wet right now.
It's really wet.
Yeah, so
Not kind of. It's really wet.
Really depends. Yeah, it's super wet.
So, right, and also I know that maybe there's this perception because, so I just want to make sure we clarify this, that even though we are growing tons of gorgeous proven winners annuals in the greenhouse, bubblegum is going crazy. I mean, everything is growing really well, but that's in a greenhouse that has heat to it and it's really warm. We can't pull those outside and plant them now. So I just want to clarify that even if we open this Saturday, it is still not appropriate to buy up all your annuals for the spring and summer.
Unless you have a greenhouse.
Unless you have a greenhouse that is heated and you're going to take care of them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like really last year we had kind of an early start to the season and that was mid-March. And even then it was kind of iffy. We did have a really late frost.
See, a lot of the super bells and the petunias,
Right.
we'll start bringing them outside in March, and we just kind of watch it. They can really take, you have to have frost protection, but they can take 28 degrees.
They
most of them.
can. They can. And just to give you as a general rule for me, in, again, North Carolina, Zone 7B, I like to plant, if I'm putting petunias in the ground, but that's going to be not irrigated, I like to try to put them in around the first week or two of April because they can take those cooler nights, but it's lots of time for their roots to get established before the heat hits, and they do really well.
What petunia are you going to plant?
So I'm doing bubblegum. I'm so excited about bubblegum. So 2 years ago now, we did it right off the back edge of the porch, kind of where the Hortsman is, and so we did that 2 years ago with Diamond Mountain and Lemon Coral in front, with a Prince Tut grass in the middle, and it was just gorgeous. It was stunning. And then last year we did the vertigo grass. I'll link this video in the description, but we did the vertigo grass, still did the Diamond Mountain, which was great. We did Bordeaux, and then we left the lemon coral because lemon coral can be a perennial for us, and it did great. But I found, for me personally, again, this is not an irrigated spot, the Bordeaux didn't last through the summer as long as bubblegum did this summer before. Just in my opinion, you just can't beat, I mean, love the petunias. Now I'll use them and all,
they all do well.
They all do well. But for a non-irrigated space that gets intense hot afternoon sun, you just can't beat bubblegum. Really any of the vistas. But I'm going back to bubblegum this year, and we're going to do big swatches of it everywhere. So that's been kind of a joke with us because
Yeah, last year I sold all her petunias.
he sold all my petunias in
With her permission?
in the gardening, yeah, with my arm twisted behind my back. But with the gardening craze of 2020,
Yeah.
we had special ordered all these petunias for the landscape and doing all this stuff, and of course having no clue that the pandemic was coming. And Yeah, they got sold, so I didn't get to use them. So this year we're like, okay, we're going to order a tray of bubble gum, you know, especially for me, and that's like 100 plants.
Yeah.
It's like 100 plants or so.
It's going to give you, if we put them in 1 gallon, it's 51 gallons. If we
Right now they're in quarts. Well, they're in quarts right now.
Oh, okay, that's right.
We planted them up yesterday in quarts, and they're in special pots. And if you're familiar with Jenny's Touch and Die section, that's where they are. I really do think I'm going to go to like Home Depot or somewhere and get like yellow caution tape and mark it off. But they're in special pots, so he can't turn around and sell them because they don't look like anybody else. But no, I'm excited. And I am excited about the spring. It's going to be like the gardener in me is like super excited and ready for spring to come now.
Yeah.
And then the business owner of me inside is like, oh, we need more time because we are trying to get this website finished.
When is it going to be done?
Nothing like a little putting me on the spot with a little pressure. So, Jenny, when's the website going to be done? Well, Jerry, as long as you don't keep calling me away, we can get it done really quickly. No, my goal would be, in all honesty, and I'm saying this on camera, like in a week.
Okay.
In a week.
So when we do it, and those of you that have either contacted us by email or sent us other messages, when we do launch it,
right,
you'll just be able to just place your order, and then the plants will ship when it's appropriate to either leave here or get to your zone.
Right. So just because you place the order, let's say it launches on Monday, and you place your order on Monday, we're not shipping on Tuesday.
They're not ready.
They're not ready, and two, they could arrive as little ice cubes. So we have to wait until the appropriate time. But rest assured, if you place your order, that when the time is appropriate, weather-wise, we will ship them out to you. But with the website, so what we're going to do is, I was talking with Christine. So remind me to come back to the Christine thing. But so Christine is like our right hand here at the nursery. But she's also the one that edits our videos and does all that other good stuff. So she had a fun idea, I haven't even told Jerry this, about doing a video, like walking through the website, like explaining. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, but, you know, some ins and outs and that kind of thing. Will say, which she loved this idea, or loved this feature of the website, is that we get tons and tons of questions from y'all about, do we have issues with deer here in our gardens, in our property? So you can filter when you're shopping by like deer resistant annuals, deer resistant, like, you know, plants that are deer resistant, plants that are very drought tolerant, plants that are in the shade, plants that are in the sun. So you can do all those different kind of filters, and all those plants will come up. So if you do have a deer problem, just hit the deer resistant, and if it comes up, then those are plants that Proven Winners has said are more deer resistant. So speaking of deer resistant and issues with deer, we get that asked all the time.
We do.
Because we are in the country. The nursery sits on 8.5 acres, and then our property is adjoining my parents' property, who have 24. My daddy was a farmer, and so it's all farmland, and then even property that's around us is farmland. So we have like acres and acres of open.
Yeah, we have several families around us that own a good bit of acreage,
property, right.
You know, kind of around our back and sides.
Right. We have country neighbors.
Yeah, which is good for the deer. The deer have all their natural food and have plenty of places to roam. You know, that they can still hunt out here, so that keeps the population
so people hunt. And then we do have sometimes issues with coyotes, so there's that.
Yeah.
But then, like Jerry said, there's so much, I think, native natural habitat that they're not starving, so they don't care about our hostas. I mean, they don't care.
Only time I've ever seen them care about something and they quit it were the mums. You know, the mums were growing in the big field, and they went up and munched on like 4 or 5 of them. They never came back to them.
They're like, ew, yeah.
I guess that was something new and fuzzy looking. They thought maybe that would be good.
Or it was a baby, you know, a teenager who was being rebellious. Yeah. Who knows?
That's crazy.
So no, we don't have issues with deer, thank goodness. But I do want to circle back with Christine, because I know that we've talked about Christine. If you've been around, you've heard the name Christine. She's been on some of the videos. But Christine is a dear, sweet friend of ours who, like I said, is our right hand. I mean, she is every much part of Creekside that we are. And so I also thought it'd be fun to do a chat with Christine so that you could see her, see her personality. But she just brings...
Buckle your seatbelt.
He says that in so much love. We adore Christine. She is just a ray of sunshine. She is a creative genius. Like, that is her official title here at Creekside, creative genius. So all the fun little antics on the videos, if you love the music, Christine picks all that out. Like, we film it and give it to her, and we'll do a final approval.
That was a big one, the last one, the chainsaw.
The chainsaw.
Everybody loved the music.
The
music was really cool.
And that's Christine. Like, so she sits through, there's a, and that also brings me up to another point, is that people have asked multiple times about can we give credit, or who did this song, what's the name of this song, that you really like the song and you want to know the song. So there are websites and companies that produce music specifically for social media, video production, all this kind of stuff. So we pay an annual membership to this. It's a website, and all these artists come on there and create all this music. I mean, you name a genre or a topic, and there's music that goes with that. And so you can't, like, that is what they produce it for, is this website. So you can't find them on iTunes or Spotify or any of that kind of stuff. So that's why we never list who the artists are or the songs are, because quite honestly, it wouldn't do you any good to know who they are anyway, because you don't have access to their music. So that's the whole, I did not know this about music and copywriting, and you can't do this and you can't do that. Get a YouTube channel. You'll learn real quick about all the ins and outs of video production and what you're allowed to do and what you're not allowed to do. But yeah, so that kind of answers that question too. So, what are you looking forward to, like the spring season? Anything?
Wow, I mean, just seeing the trees come back out. I mean,
That's true.
Yeah, just seeing everything kind of start to kind of come back alive. The growth.
It is, and I don't know if if you're not.
And I love those spring mornings with the birds and going out and seeing the sunrise or running back and forth. Look forward to doing that.
Right. If you've ever flown, if you're not from the East Coast or you're not from this part of the country, the world, Jerry and I always find it amazing. We kind of take for granted how green everything is here.
Yeah.
But all you have to do is get in a plane and fly west.
Go to
and
Arizona.
It's like as soon as you cross over the Mississippi, things start getting brown. And while it's beautiful in its own right, like we were in Arizona a couple years ago in the desert, and it was gorgeous and it was beautiful, and those cactus, and it was just amazing. But everything is brown.
So I mean, I really don't fly a lot. We've flown a good, but we don't fly a lot. And I'm just one of those that just loves to sit there by the window and check it out.
He always takes the window seat.
Try to find, the football stadium or where we are or something like that, something crazy, but it's neat to see it change.
But you always know you're getting close to home when things start getting green. And it's like then when you really, like if you come across the Mississippi and then you hit those Blue Ridge Mountains, it's like everything is a sea of green. And so we have tons of hardwoods where we are, like on our property, and it's just how lush and green everything is. And I'll never forget last year I was outside, it was early spring, and I was like, what is that noise? And I was like, oh, it's the tree leaves blowing in the wind. They were like rustling. Anyway, it was really neat.
Yep.
All right, is there anything else we need to talk about?
No, and I would say probably, I know we've missed the patio update in a while, and I think the next time, it's because of the greenhouse. We put all hands on deck on finishing the greenhouse out, so now we're circling back into that window where I think what we'll do is probably do a video when we're just knocking it out, the
Pavers?
the pavers, because we're there. We're just has one little set of steps that has to be done, and then
because as you know, so it's February,
yeah, that's
and I've ordered my David Austin roses
yeah.
back, and they're coming in March, so those have got to go in the ground. Which is not that big of a deal because the flower beds are there in the patio. Tulips but we are going to do a path from the patio to our garage, and so we're going to do a trellis, and then I have climbing roses that are going to climb it, which are David Austin climbing roses. But of course I can't plant those if we don't have the path. I'm not planting that in a construction zone. So I really don't want them to put them in a pot, but that may be what happens this year. So that's going on, and then the tulip bulbs will go in the ground back there.
When are they gonna? We should be getting
Anytime now. Yeah. Just add that to the to-do list.
Yeah.
After the website's done. So those will go in the ground, and then we've got a unique stone order coming in, hopefully maybe this week. And then I've got those urns, so I'm going to put tulips in those that'll go around the seating wall. So there's lots to be done, but we are desperately ready to get that patio done so we can use it and enjoy it and stop looking out the window and seeing a construction zone.
Yeah, when I had stopped, I was picking up electrical stuff at Home Depot or one of the stores. And I stopped and looked at some of the Trex or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, there was a really dark color. Then there was one that was kind of it was a lighter brown, but had almost some color in it. And I thought it was real pretty. I thought it would kind of maybe blend with. It had some colors in it. I thought were maybe in the rock.
That'd be good.
Would blend. So I thought that would.
Because we have that one little area off the back porch that needs to be resurfaced. I don't know what you call it. Anyway, we took up the decking boards.
Yeah, we took up those decking boards, and the new one's going to go down. We're going to go with the composite type stuff.
Right, and then do
I don't know what
planting beds
what
around them, like planting boxes.
Yes.
Which I have tulips to go in that, but they may not.
Yeah, that's not happening.
I don't think that's going to happen this year. I think I will just take those beautiful tulips and put them in the urns and really jam pack the planting beds with tulips this year, because
maybe if your dad could build some boxes.
By the spring.
Your dad could build some boxes out of that stuff, and then all we have to do is just
Daddy
attach
could just
them.
build the deck for us.
Yeah, we could. Yeah.
So my daddy is, y'all just getting the whole scoop on our family. But my daddy, of course, was a farmer. He's a woodworker. Like growing up, he refinished furniture. He was self-employed, so he had his own business, and he retired. And so he is definitely a woodman, a project man. Like, he does not sit still. Like, he always has to have a project. And so he's been looking for a project, so maybe he can put those decking boards down for us.
His
and
deck's
build.
nice, he do.
Oh yeah, he builds everything. So if you see any of the videos, like when we're up at the greenhouse and passing by all these little buildings, I mean, he is a very skilled master carpenter. So I think that would be a little project for Poppy to do. So if you think Poppy should build the deck, just leave us a comment, so that way my mama can show him and say, hey Gil, everybody thinks you could do this. It would be great. He doesn't have to be on camera.
No.
Maybe make a little cameo. I could sneak the video on him and he wouldn't know it.
That's right.
That's right. Okay, we good?
We're good. Yeah.
Well, this was a nice little chit chat.
It is. This is Sunday, so we're going to go watch the Super Bowl here in a little bit.
Yeah, so it's Super Bowl Sunday, and this is our 17th. We've been in our house 17 years this weekend.
Yeah.
Because we moved in Super Bowl weekend of 2000. Now I think they switched to Super Bowl a little bit,
2004.
but 2004. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, happy anniversary.
Panthers' first visit
Cheers.
to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Lost.
17 years.
Yep.
They lost. It's all right. We're used to it.
Good.
All right. We're going to sign off. As always, thank you so much for gardening with Creekside, and we will see you in the next video. Bye. Friends.